Greetings and salutations everyone, I'm Silent J with Surf Tectonics. In this video expedition we will examine the size, composition, and strength of the United Nations Navy, the spaceborne military arm of Earth and Luna in the Expanse universe timeline unfolding during the mid-24th century. In the previous episode we outlined the Mars Congressional Republic Navy's fleets and ships. That video link will be down below in the description. The year is 2351 during the Expanse Season 1. The United Nations of Earth and Luna, with a population near 30 billion, controls a vast interplanetary economic trade network with over 100 trade stations, ports, and colonial settlements connecting the solar system. The United Nations Navy polices, patrols, and defends the trade routes and navigation lanes that conducts the flow of commerce and resources to these stations throughout the solar system. The Mars Congressional Republic Navy and United Nations, for the most part, reluctantly cooperate to provide interplanetary security while balancing a Cold War pendulum type of political song and dance. The United Nations Navy consists of 3,175 space vessels, of which 1,851 are combat-dedicated warships. 615 are auxiliary escort ships, and 709 auxiliary support vessels. At any given time, around 1,060 UNN ships are actively deployed on locations for missions throughout the solar system. Another one-third of ships are in transit between orbits with travel times spanning days, weeks, or sometimes months, with a final third docked at ports and shipyards for maintenance, repairs, and refits. The UN Navy is comprised of 13 fleets with 200 to 300 ships in primary fleets that are the Home Fleet, 3rd, 5th, 8th, Jupiter, and Saturn fleets. The remaining 7 are patrol, security, and support fleets containing 100 or more ships each. For example, a fleet of 180 ships on average will have 60 to 70 vessels dispatched to areas of operations in designated orbits across the solar system. The UN Navy's primary shipyard fleet bases are on Earth, Luna, Pallas Station, and Saturn's moon Titan, with secondary docks on Thoth and Anderson stations, Oshima and Herculum asteroid outposts, with a dozen more civilian ports throughout the system. Due to the United Nations Navy fielding such a large fleet, many of the ship classes are older designs. The Phantom-class corvette started production nearly a century ago, and many remained in service performing secondary roles such as security and escort duties. The LEONIDAS-class battleships, TRUMAN-class dreadnoughts, Milan destroyers, patrol boats, and fleet support ships range in service life from 50 to 75 years, comprising nearly 70% of the total fleet strength, having an average age of 65 years in service. But also take into consideration that advanced spacefaring technology in the mid-24th century makes 100-year-old ships not to be considered quite as old in a time when the average human life expectancy is 123 years. The newer ship types commissioned over the previous 30 years during the fleet modernization programs are the Monroe-class cruisers, Murphy heavy destroyers, Andronicus heavy frigates, and Tanaka frigates that comprise 20% of the total ship numbers, with another 160 contemporary auxiliary support vessel builds. These newer ship designs were more on par with the more advanced MCRN warships, whereas the older ship types used size and sheer numbers to match the Martian ships. Yet as these newer ships were produced with improved systems, Mars naval technology also increased on a reciprocal scale. If 3,175 ships seem like a large number, take into consideration just over 1,800 are dedicated combat warships, with the rest being lightly armed support vessels. Additionally, the solar system's diameter is 178 billion miles, connecting an interplanetary economic trade network with over 100,000 merchant vessels transiting the navigation routes between orbits. Adding the 635 MCRN military vessels with the UN Navy gives us a ratio of one ship for every 55.9 million miles of space in the solar system. In other words, if all 3,810 naval ships were burning at max sublight fusion drive velocity simultaneously, it would take over 2 weeks for every ship to transit the entire diameter of the solar system. For more details on the Expanse space travel speeds, feel free to watch a previous episode covering solar system transit times. The link is in the video description below. The mainstay of the United Nations Navy is the TRUMAN-class dreadnoughts and LEONIDAS-class battleships, having the most powerful systems and substantially larger platforms than the other ships in the UN Navy. The only other space vessels that can challenge them is the MCRN DONNAGER-class battleships and Sakharov-class assault cruisers, and head-to-head the Martian ships have the tactical advantage, although the DONNAGER and Sakharov number 55 ships compared to the 178 TRUMANs and LEONIDAS totals. That more or less levels out the strategical battle space in the quantity versus quality comparative ratio. The Moreau-class cruiser is a military variant of the Guangxian civilian transport ship, along with the Tanaka strike frigate, which was of a smaller civilian version of the same production models. The Moreau attack cruiser was designed to replace the aging LEONIDAS-class battleships with similar tactical capabilities on a smaller streamlined platform that allows for faster sublight acceleration with more advanced fusion drives and systems. The Murphy-class heavy destroyer and Andronicus-class assault frigates were purpose-built modernized military vessels. 12 of the Andronicus-class were purchased by Protogen Corporation, a subsidiary of Mao Kunkowski Mercantile, and retrofitted with Martian stealth tech in exchange for the company's science and research program on Saturn's moon Phoebe. 9 of these ships received modifications and retrofitted to be the Amun-Ra-class stealth frigates. This rogue fleet would set in motion the confrontation between Earth and Mars for control of the proto-molecule that plunged the solar system into a year-long interplanetary military conflict known as the UN-MCR War, which we will cover in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful breakfast, brunch, lunch, dinner, morning, day, afternoon, evening, night, or whatever corner of the globe you stay. Peace out, Dusta Loda. For more sci-fi video expeditions, feel free to hit subscribe.
No one likes your slow, boring voice, and they fall asleep, you silly turd herd.
Agro Nerd Troll, not you again.